That's the summary of the story. Now you're probably
Beautiful.
wondering, yeah, how did that happen? If I have some analysts here listening, you're probably trying to do some calculation, what really happened, or I have some medical people listening. I'm sure that your medical antenna is wide open and you're wondering how did that happen, because you remember that the embryo was not in transferred, it was saved in the hospital, right? So there was no transfer of embryo. So how then did we get pregnant? And if you understand the procedure of IVF, there excuse me, there are so many things that happen in the procedure. So after the IVF, there are things that they give you to take or stop taking. Your period is expected to come, things like that should happen and return your body to natural, because during the IVF process they have practically hijacked your system with medication and all of that. So I was asked to go home and your period should come in 7 days and blah blah blah. It didn't come. So I was like, no, this is the hormones speaking, because I've taken too many injections. So this is definitely my hormones speaking. So I said to my husband, look, I don't need any more, disappointments. I think I've had enough. At this time I was so bloated. I was really bloated because the procedure affected me, physically. And so I kept checking. One mind told me, "Can you get a pregnancy kit and do a test?" I'm like, test? Okay. So I secretly went and did a test, and it was showing positive. Well, this positive was like, I call it 1.5 lines. Like half is half positive. So I was like, no, that's the hormones. The medications are playing on my mind. I'm not gonna take this because I've never seen positive in 6 years or less than 6 years. So I don't know what that looks like. So I did the test for 8 consecutive days, and it was positive. Kept getting thicker and thicker and thicker, and we went to see the GP. So we went to see our GP, and she was like, "Oh, congratulations! You've fallen pregnant naturally." I'm like, "What's that? Don't just stop! Stop before you even." I was like, "Just stop." So she asked the nurse to do another pregnancy test there and then. We had that, and it was positive. I was like, "Okay." If you're an African, you understand when they
Wow.
say village people. You're like, I was like, the village people are speaking to these people. That's not true. So I went again. I bought another pregnancy kit from the pharmacy close to the hospital. This one actually is the one that shows you the number of weeks. So I was like, let's find out what has happened. And it said
Right.
2 to 3 weeks. So I looked at it. 2 to 3 weeks was exactly the time of the IVF procedure. And like I said, this is a real conversation. Um there was no intercourse between husband and wife within the period of, because when you're having an IVF, your intimate activities have to stop before the egg collection, and nothing happens till you are safe to do so. So, because of the way my procedure went, I didn't even, that was the last thing on anybody's mind, because we were grieving about how everything happened. So, there was no intimate activity. So, how then did we conceive within the period? We don't know. Nobody knew. So I called the hospital. I thought I was going mental. What is going on with my body? The fertility consultant was like, "What?" They said, "Wait a minute." So they kept me on hold for a long time. And my husband and I were joking about it. And he said, "I think they went to the freezer to check if your embryo was really, really stored after the procedure." And they said, "Well, this is strange. They've never seen this. They're coming for a quick scan in 7 weeks, or when you are 7 weeks old." So I went for a quick scan, and they checked, and there was a baby there, and there was a heartbeat. And that was how they looked at me, and they said, "We don't know what has happened. We have been talking about you. We have no idea of what has happened." I said, "It's a miracle. Say it, nurse. It's a miracle."
Yes.
And then she said, "I believe you. This is a miracle. We've never seen this before." And that was how we conceived our first child. And today we have two children. So our infertility journey of nearly 6 years ended, like that.